Good afternoon, everyone. Right. Welcome to session 3, focusing around workforce planning. I'll do some introductions shortly, but I just want to run through some very brief housekeeping rules. Please do keep your cameras off and also your microphones off. This session is being recorded. So first off, welcome. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Sam. I'm the Key Account Manager for Defence and Government here at BCS, and I'm joined here by my colleague Andrew Barnett, who will introduce himself.
Hi, everybody. Appreciate you taking the time today. I'm Andrew. I'm one of the technical consultants working with a range of clients on workforce planning matters. So very pleased to meet you all.
Thank you, Andrew. So, yes, I want to echo Andrew's words and say thank you for attending this session around workforce planning. First off, I want to explore kind of the importance of workforce planning. So, accurate workforce planning is crucial in today's ever-changing tech industry because it helps organizations adapt to rapid changes such as economic fluctuations, technological advancements, and also shifting talent needs. It ensures the right people are in the right roles at the right time, improving efficiency, reducing costs, and enhancing organizational agility as well. Now, in today's session, we're going to first explore the challenge, which, as I mentioned previously, is rapid technology changes and shifting business needs required for proactive workforce planning. And what we'll cover is how we assess future skills requirements, support succession planning, and build a more resilient team. Workforce planning is all around preparing for the future. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to my colleague Andrew just to have a recap of the last few sessions and also recap slightly around the SFIA framework as well and why it's important for today's session.
Thanks, Sam. And again, just to maybe mention that the other sessions are available online. And what we're trying to do is bring themes through, and ultimately trying to share. We were asked to share in these sessions things that we see working well. Clients tell us are working well. So that's really what we're trying to achieve, as I say. So as a recap, we initially started suggesting or posing the question, if you can agree on or spend time examining various skills frameworks or taxonomies. We mentioned a few. There's one on your screen now. Because when you can, a lot of what we've been subsequently discussing and will continue to discuss today becomes far more likely to be able to you can achieve those goals. We talked about how you should be utilizing these various frameworks, so selecting combinations of skills for roles. Then we discussed how people can then begin to interact, because what we're effectively trying to do, these frameworks are great, are robust, and are a reflection of a changing IT digital landscape. But the real challenge is, how do we use those to engage with people? So the session before this one, we spoke about how people begin to benchmark against these selected skills and broader skills as well, and how you motivate them to do so. So that hopefully came across in those sessions, but giving people a call to action, thinking about their personal drivers. So we very much focus on the member of staff, such as myself and Sam, leadership management. So that's the recap, and we're kind of taking that journey forward now that we've been able to begin to capture some of this skills data, kind of having validated what we can then do with it. So hence why we're talking about workforce planning now, and in future sessions we'll talk about things like career pathways. So we'll bring it back to the individual. So there's by way of a recap. Hopefully that's helpful. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you, Andrew. So you heard Andrew there allude to SFIA, and I feel like it's only fair just to have a really kind of brief run through around what SFIA is for those of you who aren't familiar. So SFIA stands for the Skills Framework for the Information Age, first published in 2000s and created in the interest of sharing best practice, and is now seen as the globally recognized and government-backed IT standard skills framework. Graded across 7 levels, which represents a journey, but also levels of responsibility, such as I forgot where I'm going with that, but going across the 7 levels of responsibility, and how that really does help you within your career journey. Now, BCS own the rights to what we call SFIAplus, which takes those 7 levels of responsibility, and across each of those 7 levels is over 140 different SFIA skills at each of those 7 levels, all industry-informed content, but adds an extra level of granular detail, such as work activities, knowledge and skills, but also industry-recommended qualifications for each skill at each level. Now, this is available to BCS members and also through Role Model Plus, which Andrew is going to dive into very shortly. There we are. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand over to Andrew to show you how we look at workforce planning within Role Model Plus, and how that can benefit organisations and also individuals.
Thanks, Sam. Just bear with me while can you see my screen okay? Great. So we're not necessarily plugging anything in particular. What I've said on previous sessions, it's just really useful if you can have some sort of environment, whatever mechanism you choose to use to better present these frameworks and how you're using them, typically role profiles, etc. So just bear that in mind. And again, we're not limited to using one taxonomy or one framework. Some examples I'll use here are real world examples, excuse me, where organizations will typically blend things together. So you don't have to think it's all things SFIA or nothing else, or all things DDAT and nothing else. You can just select from whichever framework is most appropriate for you. I can't stress that enough, because if you do not do that, you're just creating challenges down the line. So we will just accommodate everything and blend them together. So just as another recap of my recap, we spoke about in the previous session around benchmarking. So again, I'm not going to look at it in a great amount of detail here, but we benchmarked against a role. So we've used, and I'll quickly look at it. Just bear with me, just to illustrate my point. So when we're creating roles, we'll use combinations of skills, maybe predetermined. I happen to have a SFIA role allocated to me here, but I'll be looking at a blended role later on in this journey. But I'm benchmarking against selected skills at levels. And that's how I'm beginning. The point I'm illustrating here is hopefully beginning to capture data about myself. That is then validated by my manager. And the moment that happens, you're able to then begin to, for want of a better word, interrogate that data. And that's where I'll go to now very quickly. So workforce planning, the things that we get asked all the time, and our client base will say that we are enabling things like identifying where people are underskilled, to call an obvious one. It'll also help you identify perhaps who a good match for a role might be. And on that example, so again, we've got people in play, we've got skills in play, presented often in the form of a role profile. So now we have people's attributed to these various skills descriptions. So I can start to interrogate that. I could even choose to maybe build a new role that we're thinking about for the future. As long as it's pens using the same taxonomies, you'll be able to utilize these sorts of methodologies. But let's say for argument's sake, the scenario that we hear all the time is a team is expanding, or a role has become available for whatever reason, and you want to see within your midst who would be a best match for that role. So that is one small facet of workforce planning. And again, I think it's important, and again, a theme from previous sessions is what we're trying to do. What is really valuable and a great tool to engage is to show people that we're just being transparent. We're going to base our decisions on validated skills. So as an example, I have a role that's come up, that's become available, and I can see that Andrew here is a good match. So what that means is some of the elements of Andrew's role are also utilized in this solutions architect role. Maybe also Andrew is benchmarked against the underlying frameworks, again capturing more data. But we can target specific roles and find best matches for those roles. So I can literally go through any one of these and it'll tell me who's a good match, which is why it's important that, again, I can't stress this enough, if you can, if in any way, shape, land on a framework or frameworks plural and use those even if it's just a theme through all your roles. If you're maybe more security orientated, you have an entirely different framework, that should be reflected in the role profiles. But having some sort of taxonomy or skills taxonomy or framework that has a theme for all these things are achievable. So that's one element of workforce planning and advantage of using frameworks. So we can look at it another way. You might want to interrogate, again, when you're building a role, to hark back to our previous sessions, you decide which skills at which levels, whether it was a junior set of skills or senior set of skills, whatever they may be. Again, sorry, it is useful using, we just happen to be using our environment here. So I can look at all the roles in this sandbox environment. And again, we'll focus in on the BA team, for argument's sake, and say, well, yes, there's clearly going to be some underskilling. Whenever you do these exercises, and we did stress this last time around, that we will find skills gaps. So you need to get ahead of that and manage it. And we spoke about how it's important to connect learning, interweave those into the role profiles, etc. So people are, the first port of call is some development. That aside, the scenario we hear, and we'll talk about it in more detail later on about retaining staff, but we'll touch on it here. It is a facet of workforce planning. We're going to look at all our roles and we're going to ask ourselves, well, where are we overskilled? So that would suggest that, unless you pitched the roles incorrectly, but let's assume the role leveling is correct, within the project management team, some of the individuals have done the benchmarking that we talked about previously and said, well, actually, I'm over that. I'm performing more than my job is required. That would typically represent an opportunity or a risk, if you will. That person needs to be challenged. That person needs to be, maybe you need to highlight to them that there are other roles that might suit their skill. There is progression, again, which is a feature of the next webinar. So just very quickly, in the project management team, we're overskilled. I want to be able to address that. The story we're telling here is again of Andrew, and we can see that he has actually benchmarked himself higher, and his manager has ratified that, or a subject matter expert has ratified that his view on things there. So for Andrew, workforce planning, again, we'll bring it back to his perspective. We might want to suggest to Andrew that there is opportunity. So he can, and what we can do is we already know that he's a good percentage skills match to a more, let's say, arguably a more senior role, maybe in the solutions architect team. All the time we get asked to help move people from the BA or project management through to solutions architect. There is a commonality of skills illustrated as such here. So if I go to, here we go. So I'm now myself logged into the tool. I'm a project manager. I benchmarked as such. I benchmarked over the skill set. That's been agreed. I'm now looking for future opportunity because we decided on frameworks. Otherwise, this becomes very, very challenging to achieve. I can see that I am a 72% match in this sandbox environment for the solutions architect role. And again, bringing it back to how we use frameworks, selection of skills at levels that equate to roles, I can see that I'm a direct match for a set of skills that make up that role. Where I have a set of skills that are in the right area but need to be developed. Maybe on level 3, I need to be at level 4, whatever that might be. Skills I don't have. And again, because we're using frameworks, I have a set of skills that are sort of adjacent. So they're in the skill family, but need to be adjusted, tweaked, or explored a little bit further. But it's, from a workforce planning perspective, it's based upon the data, which is achievable because of using frameworks, and we're able to flag or highlight to people that roles are in flame. So hopefully that's explained some of the themes of workforce planning, but again, we're reiterating the advantages of using frameworks, or both SFIA derived or government derived, or your own. Okay, so we'll talk about that journey in later sessions, but these are some of the things that are entirely possible. And I'll stop sharing there, Sam, if that's okay. Conscious of the time.
So actually, after following on from that, that actually brings us now to just recap over the next session. So next Tuesday, retaining talent and creating a clear career progression pathway. And then for those of you who may be working in health and care, we've actually got a bonus session on Tuesday, the 15th of April, which is digital workforce challenges in health and care. So very industry specific on that one. Now we are going to open up for questions. There is a Q&A tab at the top, which I'm sure you're able to feed into. So I'm gonna hold there for questions, and for those of you who may need to dash off to other meetings or so on, there are also mine and Andrew's email addresses on the last slide, where you'll be able to reach out to us directly, and we're more than happy to answer any questions that you have.
And again, whilst we wanted to leave time for Q&A after feedback from the previous session, so that hence the what we're doing today, I can't stress enough. We've tried our best to distill down the good practices that we see, what is effective, what works well on the call, and try to paint a realistic picture. I can't stress enough that, you know, if you want to run various scenarios, and we'll make our recommendations on a one-to-one basis. We have a great network of organizations who we're currently working with. We're interestingly quite happy to share their experiences independently as well with organizations. And I think I may have mentioned it before, but a catalyst to making this all work is the North Star, the reason why you're doing it. And having an organization, and this is my partisan hat on now, who's a chartered institute, who has a vested interest in supporting people in the IT and digital space, it's a useful partner to sort of to work with, or if nothing else, you know, have an exchange of discussions before you take your first step. But I just wanted to mention that. I don't see anything in the Q&A thus far.
No. Well, so if no one has any questions, I'll call time, and I will let everyone go. Thank you all for joining. I hope you found that useful. As I mentioned, any questions that anyone has, please do feel free to reach out to myself or Andrew. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thank you very much again for your time. I hope you found it of
Bye.
use.
Take care, everyone. Have a good day.